Whenever somebody asks me what empathy means, the only statement that comes to my mind to properly explain the term is keeping yourself in the other person's shoes. Empathy, it is the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from their frame of reference, from their point of view. Empathy is a very emotional, very strong emotion. In this Foundation of Empathy video, we will discuss some basic guidelines that will help you lay some basic bricks for empathy in your life. You should always acknowledge and accept when you're struggling. If you feel like something is bothering you, you should pay attention to it and not just keep neglecting it. If you don't want to talk about it with someone, then you should develop other healthy coping mechanisms such as exercise, music. You should always try to avoid unhealthy methods of dealing with a problem that you're facing. So, some of these negative and unhealthy coping mechanisms could be forcing positivity on yourself, isolating yourself from other people, repressing your feelings, and always thinking about the past and romanticizing it. When you're talking to somebody and they're sharing their experience with you and they're sharing their problems with you, the basic thing that you should do to show that you empathize with them is you should first of all actively listen to what they're saying. Just be there, be a caring and compassion, just be there like a caring and compassionate presence. Offer to do a concrete task, like ask them if they need help with something and that you're willing to do something for them. Tell the other person that you care and you are ready to listen to whatever they have to say. Be intentional about the time, place, circumstance you initiate a conversation. If you're in a hurry, or if the place is not comfortable, the environment is not right, then you should most probably avoid that having a conversation at that place and moment. Some of the core supportive skills that you can display are can be accepting towards whatever it is that is bothering them and whatever it is that they think that they've done. You can be non-judgmental about it. You can validate the other person's experience, that whatever they're feeling and however they're taking it is genuine, like they're not overthinking it and they're right to feel a certain way about a certain thing. Start the conversation with what you have noticed and state your concern. For example, you can tell the other person that that I've noticed you look very sad lately and you've been very quiet. I'm worried about you. And maybe then they'll start expressing whatever it is they're going through. Allow the other person the time they need. It's not It takes a lot of time to express whatever you're thinking and whatever you're feeling. It's not very easy to put words to a feeling. So you should give the other person the time that they need to talk about whatever it is that they're going through. And I'll ask, however, is there any way that you can be helpful towards them? Some things that you can avoid while having a conversation with a person they're sharing something that is very personal to them with you, is you can avoid interrupting them. Be a patient listener. Listen to whatever they have to say. Don't minimize anything. Like if they say that something happened and it has really affected them, don't tell them that it's not that bad and it could have been worse. Don't minimize their problem. Excessively reassuring the person that everything is going to be okay might be a little annoying. Also, if you've listened to the problem and you start giving them solutions to the problem without even thinking, and just prematurely problem solving whatever it is they're going through, that can be something that you should avoid while listening and having a conversation with someone. One way by which you can make the other person feel that you're listening and that you're understanding, and also not try to give them solutions, you can ask them plainly that do they want any way in which any advice on the matter, and do they want any help from you, or they just want someone to hear them out. then you will know that they just want to be listened to, or they actually need a help. And always avoid the why questions. Like, don't ask questions that start with why, because it may cause them to feel defensive. Like, why are you feeling a certain way, why are you thinking so much? Don't ask such questions. And don't blame them for something that they've done and that you think is morally incorrect in your opinion. But don't start blaming them. And don't ever try to change the subject. If you think that you are not interested, and if you, first of all, if you think you're not interested, then you should not start the conversation. And if you think that that is not the time and place to talk about that certain topic, then you should not try changing the subject. You can just plainly say that this is not the right time and place to talk about this. Let's catch up later about this, and or you can move to another place, but please don't try to change the subject. What you can do is maintain eye contact. Eye contact is such a powerful means of showing your sincerity and attentiveness. You should always try to maintain eye contact with the person. Ensure your non-verbal communication, your facial expression should show concern and focus. Encourage the other person to keep talking. If you think that they're pausing, then you should always encourage them to keep going on and talk more about how they're feeling. Restate the other person's ideas using your own words. If they're telling you that something horrible has happened, then you can also say, reflectively say that that must have been horrible, that must have felt really problematic, that must have been really problematic, something like that. Reflect the other person's experience by using any emotional label, like all these words. And summarize by pulling together major facts, ideas, and emotions. Like, when a person is talking to you in a conversation, they focus and they emphasize on certain words. Then what you can do is to reflectively speak, is you can summarize whatever you have gained from listening to them. You can choose the major emphasized words and you can say it again to them to actually make sure that whatever your understanding is, you think that they're trying to convey, the problem that they're having is actually your understanding that. Always ask before giving out advices. Like, if the other person does not need help and you're still trying to give advices, that can get annoying and that can really lead to the person getting defensive, that I don't need any help and I just want you to listen to me. Sometimes all a person wants is to let it all out. So always make sure that you are in the right position there. Now, some of the signs that you can notice when someone is struggling, that are any change from what you've come to know as typical for the other person. Like, if your friends and family, you know what they usually are like and what they usually behave like. So if there is any change in the usual behavior and you come to notice that, then don't avoid it. You should pay attention to it. Once a single change is noted, consider whether other changes have occurred as well. Some signs for depression could be sadness or tearfulness, like every little thing might make them cry. Lack of, or on the other hand, the person can get extremely emotionally distraught. Like, they start lacking any emotional expression, any facial expression. They're completely blank. They completely have a very flat expression all the time, and they used to participate in things. Now they don't even like to participate in activities that they found very interesting, that they found leisure and fun in previously. Someone close to you, they've started having very slow movements, like they seem very lazy all the time. They talk slowly, very a slow speech, and their voice sounds very tired. Weight gain and losses can also be a signs of depression. Some signs for anxiety could be the other person getting restless, at like they keep on shaking their legs very often, and they have a very irritable mood all of the time. Like, every little thing irritates them. and they are very distressed, and all the time they're agitated. And even a little thing, even if you try to talk to them, they get irritated by it. And if they have any difficulty in remaining still, like they cannot sit at a place, they cannot be still, they constantly moving, constantly making any sort of subconscious movements in their body. So these can be some signs of anxiety and depression. When you notice these signs in someone that you know, someone that is close to you and you're related to, then you should not avoid them. You should go and talk to them about it. Even if the other person is upset with you and the conversation goes poorly, you should always remember that you are helping them by talking with them and by accessing support. You can also advise them to go see a therapist. I mean, sometimes people can take it in a negative way, but it's your job to advise it to them. Or if they are already seeing a therapist, then you can go and talk to their therapist about it. If you have one, you can contact, or you can contact others that might know their therapist. You should always remember that you are doing a good job there. Even if the other person takes it the other way, you are trying to help, and you should never ever lack from it. You should never refrain yourself from trying to help somebody. And the least you can do is tell them that you can actually use these little words, that you are worth it, you matter, you are not alone in this, and it will get better. A little initiative on your side can lead to someone feeling that like they're not alone and that they're heard. So always try to empathize with people that you think and you feel like are struggling with something, and never ever consider somebody else's problems as little, or that it doesn't even matter. People are struggling in their own lives in their own ways, and they don't need anyone to tell, to think, to belittle them, to think, to tell them that they're not that their problems are not worth it. Be somebody that you want in your life. Be somebody that you thought you needed when you were in a problem.